Marriage always felt like a symphony to me. Sure, there were the occasional off-key notes, but the harmony kept us moving forward. That's what I believed, anyway. My wife, Sophia, was the musician in our relationship, literally. A violinist with a local orchestra, she had a talent for filling concert halls with melodies that could silence a room. For years, I thought her music was what kept us together. Turns out, it was just background noise for her betrayal. It started small, as these things always do. A missed dinner here, a cancelled date night there. Rehearsals ran late, she'd say, flashing me that tired but sweet smile before disappearing upstairs to rest. I didn't think much of it at first. Musicians have weird schedules, right? Late nights, long hours, all part of the gig. Then one morning, I walked into the kitchen and saw them, a massive bouquet of stargazer lilies sitting on the counter. Her favorite. From a fan, she explained when I asked about them. After the last concert. She laughed it off like it was nothing. It didn't feel like nothing. Fans might send flowers, sure, but how many fans know someone's favorite? And why no note? Something about it didn't sit right, but I let it slide. For the moment. The real crack in the story came a week later. She was sitting at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone, when a message popped up. I wasn't trying to snoop, but I caught the look on her face. It was the kind of smile that made my stomach turn, not because it was a bad smile, but because it wasn't for me. Suspicion is a funny thing. At first, it's just a little itch, easy enough to ignore. But the more you try to push it aside, the louder it gets. Sophia's schedule had always been unpredictable, but after that morning with the flowers, I started paying closer attention. Her calendar was synced to mine, her idea, ironically, so we could plan date nights more easily. One evening, after she left for yet another late rehearsal, I opened the app out of curiosity. Her location wasn't at the concert hall. It wasn't even close. The pin was at a hotel downtown. I stared at the screen for a long time, trying to rationalize it. Maybe the orchestra had rented a suite for practice? Maybe it was a mistake? But the more I thought about it, the less sense it made. Still, I didn't confront her right away. That would have been too easy. If she was lying, I needed proof, something solid. My chance to dig deeper came some time later. Sophia mentioned a charity gala her orchestra was hosting, and I offered to help out. "It'll be fun," I said, playing it cool. "Besides, I'd like to meet some of these people you spend so much time with." She seemed thrilled. "You'll love them," she said. That's when I met him. Eric. Eric was the orchestra's conductor, and everything about him screamed pretentious. The tailored suit, the perfectly styled salt and pepper hair, the way he pronounced Mozart with that fake European flair. He shook my hand with a limp grip, the kind that made you want to wipe your palm on your pants afterward. "You're the lucky one," he said with a smirk. "You're the lucky one. Sophia is exceptionally talented." "She is," I replied, keeping my face neutral. "Though I hear you've been keeping her quite busy lately." His smile faltered for just a second. It was quick, but I caught it. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Sophia shifting uncomfortably. I noticed the way his eyes flicked to Sophia, who lingered nearby, pretending to be engrossed in conversation with a flautist. Her fingers fidgeted with the hem of her dress. I didn't need a neon sign to tell me I was onto something. The gala confirmed what I already suspected, but I still needed concrete proof. Eric was too smug for his own good, and Sophia's nervous energy that night only added fuel to the fire. Over the next week, I started piecing things together. It wasn't hard. People aren't as careful as they think they are. I didn't need more proof, but I wanted it for revenge. Over the next few weeks, I pieced together their little duet. I tailed her after rehearsals, watched her meet him at the hotel and recording that. The final touch? I found their special room at the hotel, number 304, by posing as a lost delivery man. The front desk was more than happy to direct me when I said I had a package for Mr. Eric L. from his wife. Sophia's phone wasn't exactly Fort Knox, and I recorded their affectionate texts, the kind that would make Nicholas Sparks blush. When she left it unlocked one evening, I scrolled through her messages, hand steady despite the pit forming in my stomach. The texts were all I needed. Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. Wish we had more time together. I miss you already. And the piece de resistance? A photo she'd saved of Eric, shirtless, holding her violin like he was playing it. I didn't know whether to laugh or throw her phone across the room. I didn't confront her right then. It's not time yet. A little later. The orchestra's biggest concert of the year was coming up, a grand performance of The Triumph of Love. The irony was so thick I could have choked on it. A piece about romance and devotion? In front of a packed audience? It was almost too perfect. I started planning. Getting access to the auditorium's audiovisual system wasn't hard. A few well-placed bribes, and I had everything I needed, a way to upload my special feature and ensure it played at exactly the right moment. Timing was everything. The night of the concert, I dressed in my best tuxedo and blended into the sea of patrons. The auditorium was buzzing with excitement. Everyone was eager to hear the orchestra's most ambitious performance of the year. Sophia looked radiant on stage, her bow gliding across the strings like silk. Eric was in his element, conducting with dramatic flair as if the world revolved around him. I waited patiently through the first half of the concert, clapping politely at the end of each piece. When the intermission came, I made my move. Backstage, I slipped into the AV room, nodded at the technician I'd paid off, and plugged in my masterpiece. Everything was ready. The second half began with a triumph of love. The orchestra played beautifully, the audience enraptured by the sweeping melodies. Eric looked like he was basking in the spotlight, his baton moving with exaggerated grace. And then the projector screen flickered to life. At first, the audience thought it was part of the performance. A creative visual accompaniment, maybe. But when the video started, the murmurs began. The footage was clear. The video showed Sophia and Eric entering their hotel together, her hand lingering on his arm, and they walking into room 304. The timestamp in the corner confirmed the date and time. Then came their text messages, displayed one by one in bold white letters on a black background, such as, "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. Wish we had more time together." And finally, the photo. Eric shirtless, holding Sophia's violin with that same smug grin he'd worn at the gala. The music faltered. First, the strings lost their rhythm, then the brass section stumbled. Eric's baton froze mid-air as he stared at the screen, his face a mask of horror. Sophia dropped her bow, her mouth hanging open. The audience erupted. Gasps, whispers, even a few bursts of nervous laughter. Phones were whipped out, the light of dozens of screens illuminating the chaos. I stayed seated in the middle of it all, arms crossed, my expression neutral. The fallout was everything I hoped for. Eric resigned the next day. His reputation as a conductor was in tatters. No orchestra wanted to hire someone whose name was now synonymous with scandal. Sophia didn't fare much better. Word spread fast in the music world, and her once promising career dried up almost overnight. The divorce? Quick and clean. She didn't have the energy to fight, not after losing her reputation and her lover in one stroke. I kept the house, the dog, and a healthy chunk of our savings, but I left the violin. Let her keep her music, it's all she has now. As for me, I walked away without a single regret. The symphony of our marriage may have ended in discord, but my revenge? That was a perfect crescendo.